A viewer sent in this PC for a deep clean, and it may not look like much on the surface, but there is a lot to this build that doesn't first catch the eye. Firstly, we have the usual dust buildup. There is a lot of dust located at the back here, on the fans, on top of the GPU, all the typical spots that you'd expect dust to be trapped. But let's take a closer look. Now, believe it or not, this liquid used to be solid blue. That means that we're gonna have quite a surprise inside that radiator. We also have evidence, and this is still wet, of liquid on top of the GPU block. It's a little sticky on top of the terminal there. Not only that, but there's also evidence of leakage on top of the reservoir here. I can see it coming out of a fitting there. I don't know whether the O-ring is bad or what's going on there. And the worst part of all, if we come under here and take a good look, there is so much spillage of liquid throughout. I don't know if this PC still works or not, so before I attempt to do anything, we're gonna be doing a test hardware check just to see that everything is working okay, because I don't want to be held responsible for anything like this. Spec-wise, this looks like a formula board. I'm not exactly sure of exactly which CPU. We have two 2080 Ti's here in SLI, and apart from that, we have some G.Skill Trident Z RAM, and looks like Baiski water cooling gear. So let's go ahead, let's test it out first, and then we'll take it outside, give it a bit of a dust before bringing it back in, because I'm sure that dust is certainly pretty nasty for the lungs. Okay guys, you're not gonna believe this. So the PC boots up fine. This pump is not working at all. And so what I think is happening here is he's having gaming sessions, the GPUs are starting to boil the liquid inside, and it is starting to squirt out of here and onto the motherboard because of the pressure buildup. Let's go ahead and turn this off because this pump is not currently active, even though the GPUs are not under load. We're gonna have to get a replacement pump for him. We'll be right back. There's no liquid flowing. So now that the cleaning process is complete, it's actually time to start phase 2, but I want to recap on some of the issues that we found with this build, and I wrote a couple of them down. So number 1, the stains on the PC case from all the pressure buildup in the GPU, not all of those were removable. We managed to get rid of all of the white staining, but there still remains some sort of small, I guess, darker dots just from the staining and the liquid being there for quite a while. Number 2 that we found was that the company, the pre-build company, actually drilled 2 sets of holes to mount the pump res combo on the back fan slot. So they've actually made a mistake and they haven't told the client. Number 3 is that the company did not use a long enough tube in between the 2 GPUs. Now, if you remember, I did a little bit of a wet test. The tube was half out of the socket, and that's why it was constantly leaking. Number 4 is the company did not make it user-friendly in terms of water cooling maintenance because they didn't add any drain ports. Not only that, but I was advised that he wasn't told how to maintain the build, but instead he would have to ship it back there and they would do the maintenance for a charge. Now, I understand if you don't have any water cooling experience, you probably shouldn't be buying water-cooled PCs. However, if I was to sell a PC to a client, I would always tell them how to drain and fill their loop. In fact, I would even provide a video for it. Number 5, and we realized this after cleaning the motherboard, but there are so many scratches over it that the company had put on there while they were building the PC in the first place. I don't know what you have to do to get these type of scratches on there, but they're there. Number 6, and this is a bit of the company's fault, a bit of the client's fault. So because the pump wasn't working, the bottom GPU, it was starting to heat up and all of that pressure was squirting the liquid out. Now, some of that liquid got trapped in between the acrylic and the nickel block, causing staining. Now, where it might be the company's fault, and I don't know if it is or not, is the fact that there are stress cracks on the acrylic block itself. Now, this is normally due to the over-tightening of screws. However, I am not sure if the company has even touched that water block yet, so let's not make any accusations there. Now, regarding the stress cracks, they are only surface cracks, but over time they're going to get worse and worse, so I am notifying the client of that. However, for the time being, I would say it is pretty safe to use. Now, all of the color was removed from the loop for sitting there for such a long time. A lot of that was left in the radiators. Now, we went through some extensive cleaning on the radiators. You guys didn't even see half of it. We used different chemicals to dilute all of that buildup and just eat it away, lots of cleaners and things like that, but we finally got them all clean. I was also unable to remove the water blocks to replace the thermal paste because the company had stripped multiple screws on the back, and this was on both graphics cards. Now, as I said, the client does not have a lot of experience in water cooling, so we're going to be removing the 2 pump res combos. As I said, one of the pumps is dead anyway, and we're going to be replacing it with 1 pump res combo, which has multiple ports, so we're able to put a drain port in to make it nice and user-friendly. We're also going to be using clear liquid. That also means new fittings and new tubes. So let's go ahead and start the building process. we now have one user-friendly, fully water-cooled PC. As per the client's request, we got rid of those 2 reservoirs and we installed one easy to maintain loop. The loop now has a drain valve as well. So guys, let me know what you thought about the transformation down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed videos like this, please do let us know as well, because we'll continue to do this video series. Consider liking, consider subscribing, and joining our Discord. And if you enjoy content like this, then consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube channel member. It helps us out and it's greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.